In this video, I want to give you a detailed overview of all of the different features, the different columns, the bells and whistles that we've built into our new Stock Volatility Box Live Scanner. We've designed this to make it really easy to find the very best volatility setups every single day, and we've designed it to work for your particular trading style. I'll take you through the different features in this video, and I'll show you how you can make the scanner work based off of if you like to trade with the trend, against the trend, if you're a volatility trader, if you're a scalper, whatever it is, there's a strategy here waiting for you. Now, first things first, you need to know how to get to the live scanner. If you open up the menu, you'll find the live scanner is now available for you to click, and as soon as you open up the live scanner, here's what you're going to be taken to. You'll find a table that's constantly updating throughout the day with new setups. And this table contains some rich information that's all designed to help you figure out very quickly which are the setups that you want to actually take. And I'll show you some examples in just a second. Now let's focus on the S&P 100 for our conversation for today's video, but keep in mind that if you expand this to all symbols, you will find many, many, many more setups. We had 651 today, if I'm not mistaken. Now with the S&P 100, you can see that that is shrunk down. So this is the first column you'll want to pay attention to. Gives you an idea of how many signals you see on the live scanner, and it also tells you what's the average score. This is the score here. It's a proprietary formula that we've added in. I'll build some documentation that gives you full transparency into how that works, but it's a quick way to rank setups. That's the whole purpose of it. When the market's flooding, you want to be able to pick and choose directly and start by focusing at the setups at the top of the list. That's how they're ranked. And you'll also see what the average score is here. Now the bull bear tells you which direction the market is more tilted. So today, for example, we can see that it was a little bit more tilted on the bearish side, and short side opportunities, really nice if you could find them. Now let me show you how we can filter down to find some of these setups. So we know that right now we want to focus on the shorts, but you may not know that real time. So real time, I think these are the filters that most traders would want to start with, especially when this list is large. I'll show you my two new favorite set of filters. The first one is the trend analysis filter. Now the trend analysis filter makes it really easy in just one click to find all of the volatility setups that are in the direction of the trend. That is to say, where do you have a long side setup where your market stage is in a market stage of either acceleration or accumulation. That means we have a bullish bias. You can also see how long we've had that bias in terms of how mature is this trend. Is this a new trend or is this an exhausted trend? You'll notice we put a little bit more bias towards newer trends, mostly because there's more volatility associated there. So we can keep that in mind as we quickly scan through the live scanner. Now, if you don't like to trade with the trend, I know some folks really like counter trend strategies. There's a strategy for you as well. And you might be asking, why would you be trading counter trend? Why would you be looking to get short when the market is in a market stage of acceleration? Well, we've added in some proprietary filters again to help make that a trade that's worthwhile. We layer on things like the RSI with really extreme values. We look at things like the score, look at past win rates, look at the actual setup. Look at if it's a setup worth taking, and if you click the actual symbol here, you'll be able to judge that yourself. If you open this up, for example, we can see UNH breached its hourly volatility box models, triggering a short side entry. Come into the charts here and you can see that without needing to generate an indicator file. You can see what the daily models look like, and we know that UNH breached its hourly volatility box models, and we can see exactly where that happened. You can toggle between the aggressive and the conservative models directly inside of the platform, which saves you the entire step of needing to generate indicator files if you didn't want to do that. Now, I know a lot of you still like to see the models inside of your platform. So for that instance, we have this checkbox here where simply click this symbol. In this case, we have only one, but let's go back to trend following. And let's say you wanted to analyze maybe 4 or 5 symbols in more detail. Simply click whichever ones you want, and you can now click Generate Studies. Maybe you want just the daily models or the hourly models, or just the aggressive or the conservative, or you want all 4. So then you just generate the studies, and you'll notice we now generate all 4 of these models, and they're downloaded directly for you to import into your Thinkorswim platform. so you can see the levels inside of your chart. So that's the purpose of the checkbox. Very simple to go from here to think or swim. And if you want to skip that step, just click on the symbol and you'll be able to open up the charts. Now, alongside the charts, the furthermost chart here is the daily time frame chart. And the daily time frame helps give you an idea of what is the chart of UNH looking like. So for example, if I open up a fresh chart here of UNH and we take a look at it, we'll be able to see what was the daily model volatility, what was the hourly model volatility, and on the daily time frame, what has the trend been. So we can see here that the trend has very clearly been acceleration, but we're far from the market pulse line. We're more than 4% away. ATR starting to signal to us that we should start to see volatility increase a little bit. And we use all those signs to figure out that, hey, we want to maybe take this risk of being counter trend. Now, another filter that you might want to layer on is our daily swing size, and that's this bar right here. This helps you put into perspective today's volatility in comparison to the past 30 days volatility to understand today's volatility in a little bit more of a relative manner. So for example, how is today's volatility compared to our typical volatility? Are we in line with it? Are we seeing more volatility today than usual? Are we seeing less volatility than usual? So for example, if we were to come back to all here and we take a look at what are the first two at the top of our list, you have McDonald's and you have IBM. Both of these stand out in terms of their volatility because we had far less volatility today than we're used to seeing. IBM here, you take a look, 1.3% today compared to our typical volatility of 2.5%. Another reason IBM stood out, we had this large upper wick, and this is a fairly recent trend here. What does large upper wick mean? Well, if you come into a chart of IBM and we take a look at the daily time frame chart here, I zoom in, you'll be able to see that yesterday's candle had a large upper wick. To me, that's a sign that you should see sellers hanging out here. This large wick signals to us that, hey, yesterday there were sellers, there might be sellers here today. So that's what the signal column is designed to help call out. Now, along with large wicks, you'll also find some other signals here. I have momentum-based setups here. I have the first pullback in a trend. I have the second pullback in a trend. There's lots of ways that you can find daily confluences and layer them on with the intraday volatility. So we dive a little bit more into, say, IBM here, and I'd break the setup down for you. So we see today we had less volatility than usual, so we're expecting that volatility to ramp up, a fresh trend, and we're looking to get short. Why would we be looking to get short? We had a large upper wick, and the score of the setup was really nice. If we come into IBM and we take a look at this actual setup on the intraday basis, here's where that short side setup triggered. And you'll see just how nice of a setup that was in terms of picking this up before that volatility actually increases. You can find similar opportunities here. Another one that's similar is Merck. You can also find where you have greater than usual volatility and use that to your advantage. So there's lots of ways that you can pick and choose to make the scanner work for you. Now the final two things that I want to call out are the settings that you see in the right-hand column here. The first setting is the dark mode and the light mode. We had a lot of folks tell us that it was hard to read the lighter version of the scanner, especially if you're colorblind. So we added in a quick and easy way to toggle that. Just click this dark mode, light mode, and you'll be able to go back and forth very easily. And second, if you find any of these columns to be a little bit too much for your eyes, open up the settings column and you can simply modify this and take out whichever columns you don't want to pay attention to by clicking the eye. So for example, I removed the EV column. See what happens to this column here. You see it just disappeared. Scanner's a little bit cleaner. If you want to add that back in, simply click it. You'll see EV's back, drag and drop to the position you want it in. You can rearrange this if you'd like. And that way you can again make this scanner work for you, seeing just the information you want. So now if you're a volatility trader, you might be looking for places where there's greater than usual volatility. You might also be looking for places where that current volatility is less, looking for that volatility to ramp up based on if you enjoy trading increasing volatility. If you don't like as much volatility, you might be looking for places where we're right in line with our typical volatility, looking to trade reversals in the direction of the trend. Maybe you're looking to just be a little bit more conservative and trade in the direction of the trend, looking for some nice one-hitters, maybe even some nice swing trades. Look for these signals. Maybe look for some overlapping signals with places where you have relative volatility signaling to you that, hey, this is a setup you're comfortable with. Once you find a setup you want to dive deeper into, you can again just click that symbol, open it up directly inside of our platform, or open it up inside of Thinkorswim just by clicking as many of these checkboxes as you want. Try to limit it to about 115 symbols. That's where Thinkorswim starts to give you errors. And just click generate, and you'll be able to have those models ready to go. That's the new version of our stock volatility box platform. We've designed it to be incredibly fast and incredibly easy to find the very best setups every single day. Keep in mind, you can simply filter on the states here. During market hours, we'll see all of the open trades, and you can also toggle between the stop hit filters to find some of the places where you actually have skewed risk to reward setups where you're getting better opportunities. The stop hit here is simply just price hitting the outer edge of our volatility box clouds, not really a reason to quote unquote freak out, but sometimes really opportunity knocking on the door. For all of our Stock Volatility Box members, we'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions, feel free to send us an email. If you have any feedback, ways to improve the platform, features that you want to see us build in, please send us emails. We're eager to continue to make this platform better and continue to help us find the very best volatility setups for all of us collectively every single day. We'll see you in the next update. Take care, everyone.